Once upon a time, there lived a blind woman named Ihoma. Ihoma was extremely old and lost her sight and children in a ghastly fire accident many years ago. Ihoma lived alone in the village as her husband deserted her years after she lost her children in the fire, and Ihoma never got to remarry. All these years, Ihoma had no one to look after her. She would always do everything herself, including cooking, and although she struggled most times, she always figured things out, even in her blind and frail state. One day, Ihoma set out to the local market to buy some food items, and on her way, a pickpocket snatched her purse. Ihoma did not notice until she had finished buying the items she needed from the market and was about paying. Then she noticed that her purse was gone. Ihoma begged the vendor to please give her the items on credit as she had no money on her, but the vendor refused and took back the items. Ihoma began to walk from one market stall to the other, begging for food items as she had nothing left at home, but no one was kind enough to give her food items for free. As Ihoma was moving from stall to stall, she came across a young lady named Uma. Uma just moved into the village recently from another village and could not understand why people were not compassionate towards the blind old woman. So Uma decided to pay for all the items Ihoma needed from the market as she had compassion for her. Ihoma was so grateful to the young lady as she began to pray for her and bless her for her kindness. As Ihoma was heading back home, it was already getting late, so Uma volunteered to escort Ihoma back home to ensure she got home safe. Ihoma could not believe that someone could be that kind to her, and this brought tears to her eyes. This was the first time in so many years that she was being treated with so much kindness. Uma escorted Ihoma home, and once she knew that Ihoma was safe, she bid her farewell and left for her own home. The next morning, Ihoma was home when she heard a knock on her door. It was Uma who had prepared a delicious meal for Ihoma. Ihoma was so happy as she was extremely hungry that morning but had no strength to prepare food. Uma became a daughter that Ihoma wished she had, as she was always there for her and made her life a lot more easier. This went on for a very long time till one fateful day. Ihoma gave Uma a necklace to appreciate her for all she had been doing for her. It was the only thing of value Ihoma had, and she was happy to give it to Uma. Uma did not want to collect the necklace at first, but Ihoma insisted, and Uma was so grateful and kept the necklace in a safe place. One day, Uma came to visit Ihoma as usual, and out of curiosity, asked Ihoma how she got blind, and Ihoma began to narrate her story to her as she said, "I was not born blind as I lost my sight in a terrible fire. It was on one calm evening my twin teenage sons, Ibube and Odinaka, went to the neighbor's house to play with their kids when suddenly I heard screams and commotion coming from outside. My neighbor's house was on fire, so I ran inside the house to save my sons. They were 15 years old. When I rushed into the fire, I could only hear the crackling sound of fire as the thick smoke filled the house. Then, suddenly, I heard a faint cry and ran towards the cry. There I saw a little baby. I carried the baby out, and immediately we vacated the house. It collapsed, killing everyone inside, including my twin boys. It was a very traumatizing experience that not only took the lives of my twin sons, but also took my sight. My husband left me few years later and married another woman as he was ashamed of being seen with a blind woman. I have had a really sad life, and up until the day I met you, I have been a sad, lonely woman. Thank you, my daughter, for bringing smiles back into my life. Mma was so touched by Ihoma's story that when she went home, she could not help but narrate the story to her mother. It was there that Umma realized that she was the small baby that the blind woman saved from the fire many years ago. Umma's mother then told her that on that fateful day, she dropped Umma at her friend's house, which was many streets away from theirs, to go fetch some water from the stream. By the time she returned, she saw her friend's house on fire. She began to wail and scream for help when she suddenly saw a woman carrying a baby and screaming that her eyes hurt. When she approached the woman, she noticed that it was her baby the woman was carrying and took the baby from the woman. Before she could realize what was going on, the woman was nowhere to be found. It was later that day that she heard that the woman lost her twin sons in the fire but rescued her baby. She did all she could to find this woman, but she heard that the woman traveled far away to treat her eyes and never returned to their village again. Uma's mother was so happy to have finally found the woman who saved her daughter 30 years ago. Uma and her mother then paid Ihoma a visit to thank her for saving Uma's life. Ihoma could not believe how fate had brought the child she saved 30 years ago into her life as her helper. Uma then filled the gap of a daughter in Ihoma's life and was there for her all through the remaining of her days. The lesson to be learned from this story is that we should be kind to people for no just cause, as a good deed done always has a ripple effect on not only us, but people around us. Be kind always and treat people with love and compassion. I hope you enjoy the story. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.